Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Did only I hear that? Or is it still doing that?
Or is it still doing that? Okay.
Do we have our IT guy or tech?
IT guy?
I'm going to try this one.
I'll turn.
Do we want to wait a moment?
Go ahead and talk here. I think somebody has their Zoom needs to be muted. I think it's Zoom. It's creating a link.
Okay. Can you try now?
Should I try again?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon.
All
right.
Person.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming
Thank you,
out.
everyone, for coming out.
So, is it doing it again?
You're okay.
I know,
You're okay.
I have a lot of talking to do, though, so I don't know. It is 2:31 on Thursday, February 19th, and I'd like to call this Forest and Beach meeting to order. If we can go ahead and do roll call, please.
Commissioner Burley? Here. Commissioner Ross?
Here.
Commissioner Retta?
Here.
And Chair Mitchie.
Here. We could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'd like to start with some announcements. Justin?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to make an announcement for our annual Earth and Arbor Day. Is going to be Saturday, April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Devendorf Park. I don't have the full details with Val about what we're doing, but we're going to try to have the music again and all the, maybe less vendors, but a full set of booths, and it was really good. It was really good time last year if anyone made it out there.
I didn't. I know in the past you've invited the Forest and Beach Commission to come out, and there's been a little booth. I don't know if they're doing anything like that this year.
We'll have a forestry booth and an Ask an Arborist booth, and we did a tree giveaway, and we'll see what we can drum up this year. But it's always really well attended.
Great. All right. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move into public appearances. Members of the public are entitled to speak on matters of municipal concern not on the agenda during public appearances. Each person's comments shall be limited to 3 minutes or as otherwise established by the chair. Persons are not required to provide their names. However, it is helpful for speakers to state their names so they may be identified in the minutes of the meeting. Under the Brown Act, public comment for matters on the agenda must relate to that agenda item, and public comments for matters not on the agenda must relate to the subject matter jurisdiction of this legislative body. If a member of the public attending the meeting remotely violates the Brown Act by failing to comply with these requirements of the Brown Act, then that speaker will be muted. With that, is there anybody who'd like to make a public appearance? Is there anybody online?
Yes. We have Cindy Lloyd.
Good afternoon, Chair Meche, members of the commission, city staff. My name is Cindy Lloyd. I only have 2 things that I would like to say. First is to congratulate Rene Aldama for his new position. And secondly, to congratulate Justin and all his staff and whomever worked very hard, although I think it was Town and Country, to put in the absolutely beautiful native plants all the way down the rear road medians. It's made such a difference to my passing by the mission because it's it's just so welcome. So thank you very much for that excellent planting.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Is there anybody else who has a public comment?
I guess we've
Okay.
Linda online as well.
Yes, I don't know if this is the time for me to say this or whether I should wait until Justin gives his update on the forest management plan update draft. Is this the time for me to say something about that? Or should I wait?
Linda, if it's regarding that item, I would save it for that item.
Okay, I'll save it for later then.
Thank you,
Thank
Linda. Okay, we're going to move to the consent agenda items. Is there anybody else? No. I think he's for later on in the, thank you, though. Items on the consent agenda are routine in nature and do not require discussion or independent action. Members of the commission or the public may ask that any items be considered individually for purposes of board commission discussion and/or for public comment. Unless that is done, one motion may be used to adopt all recommended actions. And today, the only items on the consent agenda are approval for the January meeting minutes. If anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Burley?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Rutta?
Yes.
And Chair Mitchie?
Yes. Okay, today we have a public hearing. It's a consideration of an appeal that was filed for the denial of request to remove one Monterey cypress tree at Carmelo Street and 2nd northwest of 12th. And I believe we have the owners here. Okay, was it going to be you who was going to speak on your behalf, or was Mr. Weisfuss?
I just have a few comments that would like to turn it over to Mr. Weiss.
Okay, would you like to speak first?
Sure.
Okay, please come forward.
Should
And
I
you're,
present it first?
oh, do you need to present?
Yeah, let me present,
Okay.
give you the background, and then at least give them the background.
Okay, all right, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so, thank you for the introduction, Chair. This started back last summer. I was called out to the property by the applicant's, the appellant's architect to inspect some roots. And they brought up the concern of the tree. I looked at the roots and I wasn't overly concerned about cutting them. And then I believe this was for nearing their final sign off of the construction project that started in 2019. At the time, I looked at the tree and it was in pretty much similar shape. It was fair, maybe some poor, but it was still alive and still had a lot of green. So we had talked with the architect and the owners, or maybe not the owners, the architect and I think a landscaper, about retaining the tree and what we could do to keep it, the best recommendations to reach out to the original arborist from the 2019 report. And then after that, in concert with the tree service that would be doing some pruning, they retained another arborist who gave the report that you have in your packet with the recommendation for removal. So that was denied. Based on that report, I didn't feel that it rose to the level of risk that was said, and I thought the tree was, relatively healthy. And then there's several findings to make that I made that when it's not related to construction, is if the tree's not causing damage to the building, or if it's not, it has to be a risk to public health. And I just, where is that? Because the tree was rated as significant by two city foresters ago. We had a tree inspection, so now we know for a fact that this is a significant tree. as in the report, I don't know how we factor this in, but the tree was on a recent job site, and it wasn't ahead of time proposed for removal for the job, but I don't know how you tie it to construction if it's after. But that is just the background there for the chapter 17.48.050, that if remodeling, rebuilding, or new construction is undertaken within 6 months from the cutting down of a tree, it shall be presumed that the tree was removed for remodeling, rebuilding. I don't know if that applies, I just feel like that the code has tying that to construction somehow.
Okay.
Right now, there's 3 lower canopies on the property and 1 upper canopy. So if it is, and it is under a 4,000 square foot lot now, if the tree's removed, it's recommended to replant with 1 upper canopy.
Okay.
But-
And is this cypress the only upper canopy?
Yes.
Okay.
And in conclusion, my recommendation is to deny the appeal, but that's up to you, and you can hear from the appellant now.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Justin.
Can I ask, when would be the right time to ask questions
Yeah,
about that?
yeah.
Let's hear them,
Okay.
and then you guys can ask questions.
Okay.
Okay. If you'd like to come up, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for your time today and for your consideration. We appreciate it. Just a couple of things that I'd like to say before I know Al's on, our arborist who made a recent report. One is that, we bought the property in 2009, and I immediately had that tree examined because it's a majestic specimen. It's a beautiful tree. And was told that the tree was probably as old as 200 years. It's got a 66-foot base, or maybe you've seen it if you've been to the house. And it's a beautiful tree. It was a beautiful tree, and over the years, so we were told it's old, and this is back in '09, it's old, it has some life left in it. We don't know how long it will last. So he recommended we keep it pruned and keep an eye on it, which we have done through the years. As you may know, we took down our old house, a little cottage that was there originally, and through the process, we tried to protect the tree as best we could, because our intention has always been to keep the tree. We love that tree. However, our neighbors, both to the west of us and to the south of us, expressed concern some months ago because it had some drooping limbs that were clearly dead, and it was thinning. It was thinning out. The canopy was not as robust as it once was. And so we assured them that we would have it inspected by an independent arborist, which we did initially. That was how long ago? In July. And we were told at the time that the tree had some hollowing in the interior, and that it was in decay and in decline, a state of decline. And so our neighbor to the west of us was particularly concerned and asked us to at the very least, prune it back from his house, which we were happy to do. And we had that work done a few weeks ago by Topes. So a significant amount of pruning has been done. It actually looks a little bit better, but he said, this tree should probably be taken down in his expert opinion. And we said, well, we're having some issues with that. And Justin, we mean no disrespect to your opinion, and that's not why we're here. We are very concerned about the safety of our neighbors and ourselves, to be honest. We just built a brand new house, and after a night like last night, where I literally slept with one eye open, knowing that the tree has survived 2 significant storms, one last year and one this year. But, we just don't know how long our luck is gonna hold out. And another thing that I think is important to note is that our concern is strictly for the safety of ourselves and our neighbors. It does not impede our view. So we're not trying to get rid of a tree because we want to improve our view, which I think a lot of people probably do, and, understandably. But in this case, it sits to the south and west on our lot. The canopy's high enough that it's above the water line, so our view is unobstructed by that tree. And I think, as you pointed out, it will leave a big hole if we take that tree out. But we will fill that if we have the opportunity to with a like tree, not as large obviously, but another native tree that meets your specifications. So this is strictly out of a concern for safety and doing what's right. We don't want to have a lawsuit by our neighbors. They haven't threatened that, and I don't know if they would do that, but we do feel exposed, ourselves and our neighbors. And with that, I'd like to just ask Albert to chime in. He did a report very recently that I think might be additive to your findings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Albert, are you with us online?
Okay, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Albert.
Hi, Albert.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead and speak.
thank you. Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Please go ahead and speak.
Okay,
Please go
good.
ahead and speak.
Okay, so good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of my report, or actually it's 2 reports now. And did you by chance receive a copy of the most recent report?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, so that report consisted of a level 3 assessment, which a level 3 assessment includes a more advanced diagnostic testing, and it evaluates the internal wood structure, condition, the integrity of the tree. I apologize for my voice. I'm just trying to get over the flu here, so if I start to get a little hoarse, I apologize ahead of time. When I was first asked to look at the tree, it was a very a level 2 assessment, pretty basic for the. Let me backtrack a little bit. So my background is about nearly 40 years in the arboriculture industry, and I have approximately 25 years as a certified arborist and about 12 years as a tree risk assessor. And both of those are through the International Society of Arboriculture. So I've been in the industry for quite a while, and I've known Justin since he was a little tyke running around. So we have some history, and I respect Justin's opinions and his tree skills. So with that being said, I was brought in at a request of Topes Tree Service, July of 2025, and to do an assessment of the tree based on its condition of what I assessed at that time. And so that report pretty much found a lot of sounding, tapping, indicated some cavities, some decay in the tree, and there were some indications of decay and cavities between codominant stems. And the structure of the tree has the appearance that it was topped at one time, and you have multiple leaders that come out from a topped area of the tree. So that type of structure becomes questionable as the tree matures. And so based on what I could find on my first assessment, a level 2 assessment, I felt like the tree probably should be removed. I didn't feel there was enough canopy or a good structure of the tree to warrant cabling or pruning of the tree to try and prolong the integrity of the tree. And then it was about 4 days ago, I don't think it was last week, I was contacted again by Topes Tree Service and notified about the appeal that's taking place, and that if I could reassess the tree. And I felt the next level would be to do a level 3 assessment. So I did a level 3 assessment of that tree, same tree, subject tree, and I did 4 tests to the tree, pretty much on compass points. And all 4 tests came back with multiple areas of pretty advanced decay, and most of them at about 12 inches, and my test only goes 16 inches into the depth of the tree. That's as deep as I can go. And most of the 4 tests at about 16 inches pretty much flatlined meaning that it's just a hollow cavity. Test number 4 has a little bit of some decayed wood inside, but it's pretty much showing it's a cavity at that point from about 12 inches on. That's on the sort of the northwest side of the tree. And if you were looking at the report, it would show an area where there's some cubicle rot, which advances down into the base of the tree. That cubicle rot affects the integrity of the tree, the strength of that tree. And so my concerns are based on the structure of the tree and the amount of pockets of decay and the extent of cavities that are in that tree. I felt like this really is warranting removal of the tree. And looking at, kind of if you look at the overall risk summary, the foliage is rather necrotic, it's minimal, and the tree has been pruned, and anytime you do take out dead wood, broken branches, things like that, which that tree had, it's going to improve the appearance of the tree, but it doesn't necessarily make the tree a safer tree. And the low vigor and that sparse canopy really reduces the recovery of that tree. So if the tree is declining and not really having a good healthy canopy, it's going to really struggle with trying to recover. And recover meaning from, any kind of compartmentalizing to hold any more decay from advancing. The decay is just going to continue to advance. The root pruning on the west side, you technically you can do some root pruning to trees. It depends on how much and how close, the health and condition of the tree. So does that root pruning impact the tree? It does. It more impacts, rather than destabilizing the tree, it impacts more about how is the tree going to be recovering from root loss. And what we're seeing there, where the wall was constructed, are some larger cuts. And a lot of people had the hard time of visualizing those roots that are cut are more for structural support. They do some uptake and exchange of nutrients and water and oxygen, but those important roots are in that 12 to 18 inches. And so that whole west side of the tree has lost a significant amount of, working roots. So the impact to that tree's health has really been compromised by the root pruning, not just the big roots, but the important roots that are helping that tree to try and get better and try and be a good, healthy tree. And I just felt that was, basis of a removal request versus pruning or cabling for safety or things like that.
Okay, thank you, Albert. Albert, can I ask you to hold on to just in case we have some additional questions for you?
Sure, yeah, no problem, yeah.
Did you want to come up?
Thanks, Al. Thank you, Albert.
Thanks, Al. Thank you, Albert. That was really helpful.
I think it's important to know.
I think it's important to
we
know
did not
that
cut those suburban roots. The neighbor did it in his process of constructing that wall.
Okay.
We were not informed. We had no knowledge. We, of course, probably would have protested it. But we found out about it after the fact. I just want to make that clear.
So the wall was not constructed by you?
No.
It was constructed by your neighbor?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I have just one question to start with, and then perhaps we can go around and everybody who has questions. But have you had an opportunity to take a look at this new report, Justin? And I'd like to get your thoughts on it.
A little bit, not to fully digest it.
Because I know there's a big difference between a level 2. We were asking about that, a level 2 and a level 3. examination. Perhaps when you have an opportunity, can you let us know what you think about, 'cause
I mean, it's
know
definitely more thorough.
about these results?
I've always been under the belief that I don't believe the resistograph drilling is the best indication of the security of a cypress tree. Just the way the structures are, you see the cookies, they're kind of got the weird things.
Buttress.
It's not like a perfect circle, and they put out so much extra wood in the buttressing. That's just my personal experience and belief.
When you look at these results, do you have anything just to sort of inform us on what they mean? And I understand that
There's definitely
because of the
pockets
nature of this tree.
Pockets of decay. And, like, I don't know if I said it on site, but pretty much all mature cypresses kind of look like this on the inside. They're all hollow. They all have decay. You always see them with termites. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were laughing. It's hard to really wrap my head around looking at it now, just out of the spur. Also, for a tree this size, 3 or 4 drill sites is not enough for me, but that's just personal. Like, when I drill a tree like this, I'd put at least 9, 10 drill sites just to really get a view versus the other way to do it is called sonic tomography, where they put a bunch of spikes in the tree and they have a machine that measures the time the sound goes through, and it gets you like a perfect picture. Because that's the hard part of the drill is like, it's just 16 inches right there. So it's just, it's a tool that helps, but it's really hard to get a full picture of the tree. But there definitely is decay.
Okay.
That I think was evident in the original too. I'm not denying there's decay in the tree.
So do you still have the same opinion as you held before, or do you have any different?
I mean, it did look way better now that they prune everything out, and I think that it's relatively short. I think I do. I think I have the same opinion, but that's up to you guys.
Okay. Does anybody else like to ask any questions?
Well, first off, I can understand your concern and all this. We all own homes here, so I get that. I guess a question for Albert, because in reading your level 2 report and the level 3 report, I'd really like to hear more about the whole root damage that was done, because that's kind of interesting to me about how this is impacting your thoughts about where the tree is right now. And I guess my question is for you is...
Can I share about the roots?
Yeah.
I was there when they're cut, and they were nubs. They were cut a very, very long time ago. The roots were only about 6 inches long from there. There's a planter bed on the other side. So it was just kind of a small, it wasn't structural. And like I said, there's the grade change on the other side, like about 3 feet down. So they weren't structural in holding the tree up on that side.
I appreciate that, Justin. That's just different from what Albert just represented. So I would just like to hear, Albert, based on what Justin said, did those roots being trimmed have any impact on kind of the tree's current health?
Albert?
Working on it. Looks like the moderator mutes me. I apologize for that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay now? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear the question?
I did, yes. Yeah. So I'm back to again talking, you're asking me, if I understand correctly, did the roots being cut affect the health of the tree, correct?
Yeah, I'm just, your level 3 report, especially in what you just kind of talked about. The root, what you kind of represented, tell me if I'm wrong, is that the trimming of the roots really could slow down the tree from recovering, could have really impacted the tree's health.
Okay. So my answer to that is going to be yes. because, and I say yes because, as Jason just stated, that the roots were cut a long time ago. And he stated two statements here. One was that the roots were cut a long time ago, and two, that he was there when they were currently cut. And my question then becomes, or my statement becomes this. When you prune roots on a tree, it's not always an immediate effect. It can be long-term or it can be short-term. And so my thoughts are on trees that are very mature like this tree is. And you notice it, you'll see it more on oaks, maybe more on live oaks than you do on cypress trees. But when trees are really big and really mature, they really don't like excessive pruning or root impacts. And so if the roots were cut a long time ago, that could have started the decline of the tree. And if roots were cut recently, then the tree being unhealthy is not able to compartmentalize those roots and hold any further decay from entering the tree. The tree is already riddled with decay all over it. And now it's just created a entry point closer to the trunk of the tree where decay is going to enter into it. It's not if, it's is going to enter it. And then my question would be, if Justin was present when those roots were cut, was there consideration, or did you view the roots that were cut a long time ago? Were they already compartmentalized at that point and just stubs sticking out, like you stated? And if they already were compartmentalized, shouldn't you have worked with that property owner and said, hey, look, if we cut these roots, we're gonna open up new wounds to the tree that's closer to the trunk, to a tree that's already struggling and having a trouble with compartmentalizing. Wouldn't your advice to that owner been bridge the roots, work around them, and leave them intact like they are? That would be my thoughts. So my answer is, does it affect the current health of the tree? Yes.
Just a clarification for me. Justin, you said the roots were originally cut a long time ago. When was that? And then,
I have no idea, but.
So you weren't there for when they were cut originally? You
No,
were there
no,
for
I mean,
when they were
like,
cut.
as I said, it's a historic home with there's like a very old patio and planter box, so I don't know when that was constructed, but a long time ago.
Can we say something? Yeah. Sorry. They may have been cut a long time ago, but we did include some pictures because there were some fresh cuts. I went to my backyard, there was no fence, looked over the fence, and it looked pretty fresh. Like, it didn't look like, we've owned the house since 2009. So I don't know what happened. We live in Palo Alto, back and forth. Something happened in the interim.
That was the new cutting.
That was
Cutting
new
the
cutting.
small little stubs.
They weren't small. I mean, we included some pictures.
I meant depth-wise, like, they were short.
Yeah. I mean, they looked sizable to the point where I went on the website to see, what size you can cut without getting a permit from us, and they were beyond that size. So I'm just clarifying. We don't care about the roots. We just want to be safe with the tree. We do care about the roots, but, put that in the parking lot. We just want to be safe with this tree in our backyard. I do think the roots are not helping.
Sir, did you have any questions? Okay. I got some things. So first of all, thank you very much for what you said. I appreciate it. I do. I think we've been having a lot of conversations about, the city as a whole and how we deal with trees that are mature. I remember we had a tree removal request about a year ago when I first came on board, and it caused me to have a conversation with then Assistant City Administrator Brandon Swanson about what I can do as a Forest and Beach Commissioner. And the feedback I got was I have to follow the municipal code. If I don't like the code, well, then you can go try to change the law, but you have to follow the municipal code as a commissioner. And I wanted to say that because I have a first question. Because reading this code, is this tree removal part of a building construction or not? And it may seem like a technicality, but reading the municipal code, there's a significant difference in what I can look at in terms of how to, evaluate this or not. If it's not related to construction, I can only look at whether it is impacting a building versus if it is related, it could be public health or safety, and then there's 4 other conditions. So I really would like to first get that question answered definitively.
What do you mean?
Is this tree removal part of a building construction project or not?
I mean, it's outside of, it's already, the construction's done. And I put that in there because it's a bit ambiguous and I can't answer that. It's up to interpretation of the code. Is 6 months before or after? Does it include after? That just is an extra layer in this whole thing, that part of the health of the tree could be the fact that it was on an active construction site.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My other question, I guess, would be, and when I looked at the tree, my question is, are the roots impacting the main structure or not, in your opinion?
I don't believe they could be yet. It's so new. I didn't see anything.
Okay. Mr. Weisfuss, did you have any opinion about that or not?
Hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No, the tree is not part of the construction. The tree, as I viewed it, as I was hired to look at it, is what is the health and condition of the tree, not how it's impacted by any construction of housing around it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Sarah, any comments or questions?
Comment. That is, and where I'm coming from, there's 2 trees that just fallen within 4 houses of where I live in Carmel-by-the-Sea. And so I think we don't need to go just by what it says. We need, I think one thing is we need to recognize that even if a forester, or in one case 3 foresters, had said the tree would not fall, it fell just minutes before hitting the owner of the property. And this is on Dolores. So to my thinking, especially because you're willing to plant something new and healthy, it's time for this one to go.
Okay. How do you feel, Harry?
Torn, because, Justin, we have to trust our city forester with his opinion. And outside of kind of the level 3 report, if that didn't really change your mind about the health of that tree.
Well, health and stability are 2 different things.
Well, both.
It isn't old and it is thin, but you kind of have to separate those 2 things. Like health, the drill's not going to tell you the health, because even healthy trees have decay in them.
Right.
But that's just my.
So you think it's stable?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't answer for how long.
I know.
Again, I can't
What
tell
I
you
have
when
to
it's.
kind of ask myself, if this was my house, if this was your house, what would you want? And I know that's not a fair question, but I have to ask myself that question: is if this was my house, how would I be judging on it? So.
Mm-hmm.
Probably if it was my house, I would say it should come down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Neil?
Well, should we make a motion to vote on it, or going around to get a temperature?
I'm just getting a temperature check if you wanted to share any thoughts on that.
If this was part of construction, I could look at, B.1, which is, public health and safety, and I would agree with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I've heard, it's not related to construction. And as much as it pains me Because in general, I agree we need to like look at the whole and all these things, but I'm supposed to follow the municipal code. And based on what I've heard, it's not part of construction. And so I can look at whether it's causing damage to the building or not. I don't see that. And so my hands are tied in some regards in this, and I know you can disagree with me.
Yeah.
These are the instructions I got from our city administrator.
That's not the way it's been
So,
for the last 6 years that
let
I've
me-
been
let
on
me-
the force and beach. So
Okay.
it's just,
Let me
we
clarify
have
something.
more latitude than that. You're reading them correctly, but they've never been that restrictive. If there's some chance that it's dangerous, and that's always up in the air, but having had this experience of these 2 trees lately, I'm leaning more in that direction. And
Let me
but-
clarify with.
But I think we don't read it quite as,
Well, this is probably a separate discussion, and we should get our city administrator in
I
here.
have the answer,
to
if
have
you
this
want to hear
discussion.
it.
reword it.
Yeah.
We need to reword it.
Justin.
So in the code also, it says not related to construction. It's in the duties of the city forester. If act on permits not related to construction, you follow this sheet that's in the forest management plan, and that goes into health and structure of the tree. So if it's either appealed under the building, like that section, or the decision is made under the criteria, which is in the forest management plan, or that's getting appealed. So you have the ability to act.
Can you read that for us, Justin, just for everyone to hear what that criteria is? Do you have that?
Not in front of me.
Somewhere handy?
I can pass it out to everybody after we're done. I don't have it.
Okay.
I'd like to read that because, and this seems like it's an important topic.
If you're able to pull that up.
I mean, I can. I gotta find it.
What section is it?
It's in 17 point something.
I got it right here.
Okay, yeah, there it is. No, it doesn't have the criteria. That's in the forest management plan.
Okay, so you're looking in the forest management plan,
Yes.
not the municipal code.
Yes, but it guides you to the forest management plan in the municipal code.
Can you point that out to me?
It's the review criteria.
Applications that opinions do not conform to review
Do you mind reading that?
for review and action, right?
Yeah, and that's, I think it's more clearly spelled out in chapter 12. Okay, there.
There's 12. Applications do not conform to the criteria may be referred to the forest and commission for review and action. Okay, that's fair.
Do you mind reading that, Justin, when you find it?
Let me find it. No, it's that one. It's the review criteria, and that's a section in the forest management plan.
So we have, what I was looking at, 17.48.070, right?
Mhm.
So not related to construction. Sleeping in trees prohibited unless authorized by forest and commission consistent with the following finding. There's only one finding here.
Yes, but the other stuff is in the review criteria, in the forest management plan.
So I don't see anything.
It's in the duties of the city forester.
But I'm not the city forester.
No, that's why I'm referring it. My decision was appealed, so you're hearing the appeal.
Correct. And my understanding is that, based on the appeal, based on it's a significant tree, it's not part of construction. Here are the findings that I can basically look at.
So can you read those exact findings, how we're
Sure.
able?
Sorry.
Right. Okay. And this is 17.48.070.
Okay.
So it says.
Do you mind coming a little bit
That's
closer?
That's in the staff report, I believe.
Sorry. So it says not related to construction. When not related to construction or development, removal of a significant tree is prohibited unless authorized by the Forest and Beach Commission, consistent with the following finding. And there's one finding: that the tree is causing substantial damage to a building that cannot readily be repaired or alleviated on a long-term basis through minor reasonable building modifications. So that's the only finding that it is for not related to construction.
Okay. Okay, is
And
that,
unfortunately, this is the case where,
yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Well, Justin, can I ask a question then about practice? Because that's what's in the law, but it would be interesting to understand what the Forest and Beach Commission's practice has been over the past few years about allowing trees with similar types of issues to be taken down.
It's been practiced that the Forest and Beach Commission is able to act on,
And have we done so?
oh yeah, on.
So, I mean, that's
on
a little bit of a
appeals.
problem, period, too, that if this says this, but if we're doing it in practice,
I understand what you're saying.
then.
And I'm
that
not happy
becomes-
about this, but I've had a conversation. You understand what I'm about to say. I've had a conversation with our city administrator who said, I need to follow the municipal code. And I'm reading the municipal code, and that's what it says to me. And I know
I
Commissioner
get it.
Burling has a very different opinion, and I acknowledge that.
Because I've talked with the city manager, and we've talked about these things, and he hasn't been that way at all. So we're getting definitely mixed messages. But I can say for 6 years that I've been on this, we have regularly made decisions if we think a tree needs to go.
Well, I would suggest make a motion for the,
If someone would like to make a motion. Pardon me?
Oh,
Is there any-
public comment.
Yeah, we can receive public comment if there's anybody in the audience or online. Shelby?
Can I make one last comment?
Would you like something? Yeah.
One last comment.
Yeah, please.
Again, we would prefer to keep the tree. We have spent thousands of dollars
Yeah.
on this tree to preserve it and to determine its health. When I view the investment we made in the tree versus the risk we face, possible litigation by neighbors, possible harm to people, pedestrians, if this tree were to fall on somebody's car or fall on some poor pedestrian walking by, we would be liable. And it's not so important the money we've spent, but the fact that we were willing to do that for the betterment of the community, not to preserve our view or not to build a new house, had nothing to do with any of that. This is purely on a safety, need-to-do basis. And I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? In order to appeal this particular decision, was there any cost incurred by you to appeal it?
Well, we had to pay $1,800 for
The appeal cost,
And we
okay.
had to pay for another assessment by Albert. We had to pay for more pruning just because it was the right thing to do. So I can give you the receipts, but.
No,
it's-
that's fine. I just was
over-
wondering if
Yeah, it's over
you,
$3,000. And now if we do get permission, I think it's about $10,000 to take that tree down. So
yeah,
if I were in your seat, I would say, save us the trouble because you could face liability yourselves, not from us, but from somebody else. I mean, we're willing to absorb that significant cost. I don't really want to do it, but I also don't want to wind up in court. And we did, yeah.
okay, thank you. Is there anybody else online that wants to make a comment?
No hands are up.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Is that Linda? Go ahead, Linda.
Hi. This conversation is so sad. Yeah, this is the conundrum that Carmel has been going through, and I just, having been grown up here and watched this forest just disappear by 1,000 cuts, it's particularly poignant to have a story like this, because a tree like that adds, well, carbon sink, its habitat, beauty, etc. And I guess I just have to speak for the tree. I'm grateful to Justin for, for fighting for it, but I understand the property owner's conundrum as well. And again, just wanted to say how sad this is. I think we need this kind of conversation, though, about every single tree. Somebody needs to stand up for it, but in the end, it's up to you. That's all.
Thank you, Linda. This is a really difficult decision. I must say, when I sort of came to visit the tree, I hadn't seen that there was a level 3 report that was done. That was one question that I did have, was there more of a study done and an inspection on the tree? The tree appeared healthier than I thought that it might be. It's a very nice tree. It sits in the corner and I think gives you some interest and sort of depth in that corner. What? Is there somebody else? Oh, I'm so sorry. Ramey, okay, yes, please. I'm sorry, I'll go ahead and finish once Ramey's.
Thank you. Ramey Allard with the Friends of Carmel Forest. I'm just curious if anybody's considering the culpability of the neighbor who built the wall that cut the supporting roots. This is something that seems to be overlooked as we examine these decisions. They're tough decisions for sure. But if the community begins to realize how a tree grows and what it needs to thrive, I would hope that there would be a conversation about what is affecting this tree. And now the tree is dangerous because those supporting roots were cut. That's my belief.
Thank you, Ramey. This is a really tough one. This is challenging. Do you have anything?
Just a couple
to mention?
comments. I think that's why I was asking about the roots a little bit, is to understand what kind of impact that had. It wasn't so much about, does it change anything, but who was responsible for that? There was also kind of a note that the tree wasn't wrapped during construction, which is also another no-no. And again, that was their thing to do, but it just felt like a little bit like, would there be culpability? I don't know, but that's why I was asking about the roots. I think the other thing is, I know what Linda's saying. I think the city's got to face the fact that we have a senior, not only a senior citizen population of people, but a senior citizen population of trees that we have to deal with. And, saying goodbye to any of them, I think, is sad, and it takes a little bit away. I think the Brooks promised to replant a cypress. To me, that's pretty substantial. The more we get back in the ground, the sooner that to me is good as well, because these trees are getting old, and we're gonna have to deal with this kind of all over the city, I think. So I understand what Linda's saying, but we're gonna have to deal with this.
We can make a motion.
Can I ask one question? I think that's a good question. Can we maybe follow that up with Justin about the roots? Is there anything further you would like to say about the roots being cut and the impact on the longevity of the tree?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay.
One final question. Can you replace the existing tree with a Monterey cypress? Is there any issues, from what I read about replacing a tree in the exact same spot, for example, unless it's pest-ridden or there's disease in there?
No, I wouldn't say there's any.
So you could theoretically
Yeah, I mean.
remove it and then replace it with another Monterey cypress?
Any issue with that tree is based on age, not like a virulent pathogen in the soil.
Right, okay.
Are there any other people who'd like to make a comment? Doesn't look like it. Is somebody prepared to make a motion?
I'd like to move that the family be allowed to take this tree down with the idea that you would replant it with the cypress.
I'll
Is there a
second.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Burley?
Yes.
Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Retta?
No.
And Chair Mitchie?
No.
Motion fails.
So what happens when we have a tie?
That's a failed motion.
Okay. Should we try again? Is that the,
You may try again if there's additional information that you'd like to add. You may continue to your next meeting if you'd like more research to be done.
okay.
Those are your options.
If we continue to the next meeting, at least we'll have 5 people.
Yeah. And perhaps some more information.
I think we have all the information we need, but you still have to vote the way you think you should.
So, doesn't there need to be a motion to continue it then?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion to continue us to the next meeting.
I would second.
Okay. Commissioner? Oh, roll call?
No.
Commissioner Burley?
No.
No. Commissioner Ross?
Yes.
Commissioner Retta?
Yes.
And Chair Mitchie?
Yes.
Okay, that motion passes.
So perhaps we can get some more information.
From us.
Or from, just perhaps some more information. So we would probably continue this for the next meeting. So it's not a yes, it's not a no at this point. I think we need some more information, especially coming with this sort of at the last minute. We didn't really have an opportunity to thoroughly look through it. So it sounds like we maybe might have some more questions and some more questions about the code. And we're short one commissioner on this particular meeting. So it will be continued to either the next meeting, if we can get you onto that agenda. So we'll be in touch with you if that's okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you both coming in.
Can I ask one final question?
Sure.
So I think from my point of view, the information I want is probably going to come from the city administrator in terms of guidance, in terms of how
Right.
strongly I have to follow the municipal code or not.
Yeah.
So how do we resolve that before the next meeting so we can?
None of the rest of us have that problem, so I don't understand it. You're the first person I've ever heard say this.
Okay, well, I appreciate what you're saying. Really, I do. I've had a conversation with our city administrator.
Well, we need to get him
Exactly.
to talk to all of us then.
Exactly. So how do we make that happen before the next meeting so we?
You can personally speak with him, and I think we can all do some additional research and perhaps have more of an opportunity to look through this report, and any questions, I think we can get them answered
Right.
ourselves.
Well, Tamara can, so that we all get the same information from him consistently, instead of Neil kind of going off. Is there a way that
Exactly.
you could solicit
Ask
him to
if,
give a report?
if
or
our city-
a finding, something, so that we all get it?
Yes.
I just don't want Neil to be the
That's too
one
bad 'cause
person
he's
who's
the
got it.
acting.
It feels
Right.
like we all need to get the same answer.
Well, he is.
We can invite
He is
Brandon
the
in,
city
but if not,
administrator.
you
It's
can, we
never come up
can
before.
personally.
Okay, that's fine.
Can he
It's
do
coming up
something in
now.
advance and issue some kind of finding so that when we sit down next time, we will have had a finding?
I will ask him.
That would be great, because then,
I want to.
before so we don't have to do it again.
Exactly.
Oh, I would get it in writing or something, or he's going to be here personally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Sorry.
you. Thank you both. Sorry we weren't able to give you a decision today.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you. Okay. Okay, we are going to move on to our orders of business. We have the beach maintenance history overview that we're going to need to reschedule that. Yes,
Yeah.
we're going to receive a report from Rob Culver, and he unfortunately is out sick today. So we're going to move to the Carmel Forest Master Plan status.
Yeah.
ask
You know, Ken
it.
was gonna talk more about that, and he is also sick.
Yes.
But just wanted to, you know, lay out the timeline that we have. I think I've said it before, but it's just really some solid things that, once we file this, most likely, categorical exemption for CEQA, there's a 35-day public challenge period. And then once that clears, then we can start going through it. So that takes 2 to 3 months just to make sure everything, they have the time to assess it, and we get the 35 days in for the public to whatever, challenge it legally, however they want to challenge it, if they want to challenge it. Then through planning commission, then any reviews that might need to change, that be done, then the 2-time city council and the coastal commission.
I had a question. Okay, so from a process perspective, and I've heard differing.
Yeah.
Does the Forest and Beach Commission have to officially accept it before it goes to the Planning Commission? My understanding, my assumption is yes, that we're gonna vote to accept it or not. And if that's the case, is there a quote-unquote final version that I can review and look at? Because I know there's been lots of edits going on over the last couple of months.
Yes, there needs to be a motion to recommend it
Okay.
up.
So do you believe there is a final version of this document that we can look at to review?
Wait, before it goes to CEQA?
Well, I mean, this is, you know, it's fuzzy to me. So it's kind of
yeah,
asking a question.
I wouldn't call it final without the environmental review.
Okay, okay. So once the environmental review may force some changes in it.
It could.
It could.
It's possible, so.
Okay.
And again, that'd be the stuff that kind of Ken was gonna talk on, how he would. the
Yeah,
drafts
I
and
understand
stuff,
that
so.
Ken's not here, okay. Okay, but it sounds like the process is long enough where maybe next month we can talk to Ken about this too.
Yeah, or you can email him.
I can email him.
You call him.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you very much.
My question on that is, just going through the last minutes, it says staff has compiled comments and has made the final edits to send DUDEC to begin. What are we waiting for? Based on last month's meeting, shouldn't it have already moved on, or what?
That was actually, I was wrong on that. There wasn't all the comments, so we got some more comments after. It was supposed to be, because of the storms, we gave everybody a little extra time, and I thought that we were done, but we were not, we were incorrect.
Okay, so are we done?
No.
Pretty 99% sure. Again, that's a Ken question, but we're.
Unfortunately, this was something Ken was going to be addressing, and Ken was also ill today, so.
So is
I
there a
don't
way
think
for
Justin
Ken
was
to
fully
address
prepared.
it when he gets back, to let us all know where we're at? Because
Yeah,
I don't wanna-
definitely.
I don't want to wait a month and find out,
No,
well, we really weren't done, and.
I'll reach out to everybody when he feels better. And then, yeah, I know Linda had something to say about it.
Do we have any public comment?
Or are you guys done?
Yes.
Any more questions?
I have one more.
Okay.
Can we stop calling it the Forest Master Plan on all the agendas, because it's really the Forest Management Plan?
Okay.
And on the agenda,
Is it still
again, it
same?
came up as Forest Master Plan. And it's a technicality, but it drives me crazy.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you, Harry. Is there any public comment?
Yes,
Okay, Linda?
so, as a member of the steering committee, members of the community do outreach to me, ask me questions, and I don't have an answer to this. I know that the steering committee has had a chance to give comments on this draft, this current draft. And I know that they have been incorporated, probably. I understand that at least some of them have been incorporated. But members of the community, residents, have not been given an official invitation to offer comments. And I know that there are people out there who want to offer comments on this draft. So I'm wondering, what do I tell them? It seems, I don't know what the protocol is. I don't get it clear in my head. Well, before you send this for CEQA review to DUDEC, should you have all the comments from the community also incorporated into that draft? I'm not clear of that, but I do think that it would be a good idea to offer the public a chance to comment on this draft. And another suggestion that I might just throw out there is that community meeting we had a year ago down at, not the workshop, but the community meeting that we had down at Carpenter Hall was so well attended, and it's become rather legendary amongst the residents of Carmel. And I think there should be another one, and Nikki should give her presentation that she gave at the last workshop. That's an idea that I know that others in the community think is a good one, and I just throw it out to y'all. But that question about process is the one that I'm confused about, whether the public has a right to give input into this draft, and whether it should be invited to do so within a time frame. Can anybody answer that?
Can you comment on that?
What?
Justin?
I just, as a point of procedure and process, that we're never going to finish that way. That was the point of the public meetings, was to get public input, and we released the drafts, and I just feel like it's never going to end.
So the drafts were released, and the community has had the opportunity to make comment.
On Nikki's information. On Nikki's information, yes.
Yes, yeah. So I know it's been on our site, and the public can make comments on it.
The public can email me or Ken or
at any time during this process.
Anybody, yeah, and all the documents are on the website.
So it's been open. It's just,
For 3
and
years.
some have taken advantage of it. Many have. So perhaps that's it, and it's still on. So people can still make comments. So I think it is open. And they have received comments. Is there anyone, Linda, that you're feeling is not aware of this?
Yes, I mean, a number of people have come up to me and said, when is the public going to have a chance to make a comment on this? Now, I know the steering committee, I gave pretty extensive comments myself. So the steering committee has had its chance. It was invited to do so. But the public, I guess, is waiting for a kind of a formal invitation, kind of a process invitation, like you have 2 weeks to give your comments or something like that. I think that's what they've been waiting for. But I don't know how we could get, I can tell the people who asked me the question, I can tell them, yes, there's still time for you to make comments, but it might be a good idea to make it a little more public and give them a time frame.
Will
Thank you.
the public have opportunity when it comes back from CEQA to make comments?
Yeah, and there is that 35-day posting window, so that's like.
Do you know when that will start?
Once they're done with their evaluation.
Okay.
I don't
35.
assume that it's going to take very long, but I don't want to speak for the consultant.
Okay, all right. So we'll be keeping you posted on timing, and Ken will be back next month, and maybe he can fill in some of the more exact timing for us.
And if you have other questions, just reach out to him. He's really available.
Please.
Right.
Yeah, if there's any additional questions that you have, Linda, or if there's anyone else, please just have them reach out to Ken or to Justin.
Okay.
All right,
All
thank
right.
you. Thank you for your comments, I appreciate it.
Righto.
Okay. Any other comments on that? Are we ready? Any other questions online? Okay. I think we're ready to move to the status of the tree fine subcommittee, which.
Thank you. You want to take that, or you?
I can start, and then if we want to start, do you want to?
Oh, yeah, we met with the city attorney.
please.
When was that? That was.
Mid-December.
Yeah, about 2 months ago.
We didn't get feedback from him until January.
Yes, about the legality of the term fine and what the administrative powers are of city officials, and the tree fine, the administrative citation is capped at $1,000. So right now ours is at $250 and $500, so we could double them, and that's definitely something. But we had a meeting with him yesterday, and it does seem that the way that we're doing it, the way we're getting not around that limit is it's not a administrative fine, it's levied by the public body, the Forest and Beach Commission, as it's an action from our code is to regain the value of the tree for replanting.
Okay, so did you meet with him yesterday, did you just say?
Yesterday or Tuesday with Ken, yeah.
Okay. So we met with him, he got back to us, it was probably just after our last meeting, so we weren't able to present at our last meeting. Maybe I'll just go through a couple of the points that he made. And based on the legal analysis and comparative review that was performed by our city attorney, some of the points that he made were whether the city wishes to explore alternatives that align more closely with peer jurisdictions, so other jurisdictions here in California, the role of administrative fines versus replacement and mitigation requirements as deterrence tools, ensure internal code consistency within our city before any policy changes are considered, and the balance between deterrence, proportionality, and community expectations regarding tree protection. So those are some of the things that we had talked about when we looked at the other cities here in California. We had surveyed about 50 California cities, and many jurisdictions didn't rely solely on flat fines. Instead, they looked at penalties that were often related to things like tree size or diameter, protected tree status, appraise or assess tree value. And some of the non-monetary enforcement tools that were used were things like stop work orders, withholding or suspending of development permits, and mandatory multi-year maintenance agreements for replacement trees. So those were some of the things that we were looking at. Like Justin had said, $1,000 is a max for certain things, but many cities are reported at penalties up to $75,000 per tree in certain jurisdictions within California. So we'd like to bring this back to our commission with the findings from the attorney before we move forward anymore and get your thoughts on it, on your recommendations for this committee. Sarah, do you have anything that, no?
Commissioner Ross, before you speak, can I add some things?
Sure, please.
I know there's a question. I still look at it as, we want to review past history of fines to understand, is this really needed or not? Okay, that's one component. And so we have asked Justin to give us a roll-up, if you will, of what past fines have been given out over the last couple of years. Because, if it was like one fine, okay, maybe it's not an issue or not, and we understand that. So we want to get some statistics about that. But I also think it's about moving forward, right? And I think there's anecdotal evidence to show, at the very least, we probably want to be similar to other cities in this area and try to address it proactively to prevent the majority of the cases where somebody may think about just removing a tree. So that's the first thing. I think there's some work to be done that we can bring back in regards to what it would take to clean up the municipal code to make it more clear also. And what I mean by that is, I don't think city council is going to be adverse to updating the municipal code, but we need to bring them something that says, here are the options, this is what it's going to take, here's the amount of effort, so to speak. And to do that, I think we need to do a little bit more work to pull that together that says, for example, this is what we would do to update the tree fines, maybe even clean up some of the code around tree permits, removals, things like that. And from my point of view, that's something, maybe we can bring back in the next month or two to have a discussion on.
Right.
Neil, are you saying that you would present them with different choices, or you would?
I would bring that here to us. I think the first step is us to kind of look at it and go, what do we want to recommend to the city council in terms of what we want to do?
I would hope we could come up with something that we present to the city council in hopes that the city council doesn't take months to decide.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there anything specific that you would focus on? Like, what would you like to see come out of this?
Well, I don't think we should have 70,000, but we need more than we have now, I think. Any one of us could get it out of our piggy bank.
Right. So some of the things we're trying to find out, as Neela just said, we're going to be looking at the history, what we've done in the past. I know we've been on a couple of different, times where we've had to make a ruling on.
When I first started, we had this situation, and we did fine the lady $50,000, but she had come and taken down 3 or 4 full-grown, beautiful trees. And so, that was the only big one I imagine.
And I remember now, I looked it up. I found the old reports, and it wasn't actually punitive. The value of the trees was $50,000.
Right. And that's what we've historically done. It's been the value of the trees, time that you've put in, and those sorts of things.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah.
So here's my point of view on it, what I'd like to see. As I've heard this discussion, it's been kind of generated by the fact that we feel like we have some very wealthy people, very wealthy lots, who really will write a check for whatever amount. Whatever the fee is, and frankly, if it's $75,000 for some of these people, they'll write the check. To me, what really matters in this is some teeth about the administrative, the non-monetary stuff. Because stop work orders, withholding or suspension of developing permits, that would stop someone from doing it, no matter what money they had.
Right.
So I'm not so concerned about the dollar amount on some kind of fine. It probably does need to be adjusted. But if our goal was to deter someone with a lot of money from just kind of acting, which is what I've heard, is we don't want you to act, I don't think the dollar amount on the fine's gonna matter that much. I think some of this stuff, stop work orders, that would stop me in my tracks.
Right.
That's definitely.
We'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
The one thing is what if it's outside of construction? Like a tree just disappears. That's the only, because they didn't get it. Like, the whole point is they removed a tree without a permit, and they didn't even want to get a permit. But that's the kind of.
So I think, again, maybe we do need to have a bigger dollar amount, but that's not going to stop them. For whatever you say, $75,000.
Yeah.
That will not stop someone who is ruthlessly determined.
Stopping the project will hurt a budget a lot more than a fine.
So that's kind of my point of view about the whole.
We have some funny things. Justin, I don't know if I can mention the one you shared with us recently where you had given a citizen a permit to prune. And you had driven by, saw that they had pruned, and then you drove by a little later on, I don't know, days, weeks, and then the tree was gone. It's things like that. They're not doing any building, but how would we handle a situation like that? So I think there is a combination. I think that for many, it does include when there is a building going on. And for some, it can just be a one-off. Someone just wants one tree out, and that's, so I'm getting, would you like us to carry on with this now that we've heard back from our attorney, kind of carry on and get some more information on what we can do? And, okay, thank you. Sarah, okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, all right, thank you. We will do that. I think next we're going to Justin, your forestry report.
Do we take full public comment on that?
Do we have, I know, I'm so sorry. You know what, I don't have the screen that's got the public comment, so I apologize. I'm on the codes. I usually am looking right here, so I apologize about that.
I don't think that anyone was there. Is there.
I don't see anybody. So no one online. Shelby, okay, thank you. I apologize, I still have the orders of business here. Okay, now Justin, thank you.
All right. So, again, this is the January 2026 Foresters Report. About the master plan, as we've said before, we've gotten the edits, and now that Nikki has reviewed those edits as well, so not just Ken and me, but Nikki. So we feel like we're ready towards the end. So we're moving forward, trying to get this, pass this to the next stage. Contractors are out there right now. They did 2 task orders so far, a lot of big jobs, 55 removals, and now they're working to clear out the stumps. And as Cindy so nicely mentioned, we wrapped up the Town and Country wrapped up the Rio Road medians, and I think those they do look nice. And over the past, I know it's not January, but over the past several weeks, we've had some inclement weather, and the crew's been out there, and knock on wood, we really haven't had too much action in terms of trees falling down, but we're always ready. I was out last night about 5 to 7 on a branch that broke down, but we've been so far so lucky in terms of these recent round of storms, but we've been on call and we've been here to take care of stuff.
Saw one on San Antonio, was it? Did you see that one?
I saw that one, but we were on Santa Fe on the truck route, so.
Okay.
The crew removed 16 dead, dying, and invasive trees last month, planted 10 trees, and pruned 32 trees. They were out again with storms, and we've been cleaning up a lot of PG&E logs because they've started their work cycles again. And I guess I forgot that last month was January, and I didn't catch it. We formally hired Renee as our assistant forester, and he's been hard at work.
Congratulations.
We got 29 permits in and issued 22. We issued the removal of 21 trees, with 23 trees being required to be replanted. And we got 198 tickets or calls and responded to 188 of them. That's kind of what I have for January, if you guys have any questions.
I do. So if I'm adding this right, we've taken out, between contractors and city, 76 removals.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10 more, remove 16 dead or dying trees. And that's addition to what we've removed-ish.
Oh, the ones, I don't put the contractor removals, I just put the contractor stumps in that chart.
So it says recently completed 55 removals on task orders.
Yes, that's
City staff
contract.
took out another 21, and then the next staff below it says, city forestry crew removed 16 dead or dying or invasive trees. So that would be.
So everything in the contractors was the contractors.
Okay.
So 21 plus 55 for the contractors.
And then the next below is another 16?
That's, yeah, from the city.
So that's 92?
Yeah.
So my question is, we planted 10. So how are we gonna plant 92? Or frankly, I mean, it's supposed to be like a 2 or 3 to 1, right, to get success. So in theory, we're supposed to plant 270 trees for this. And yes, that's not always how it's gonna be, but we have stated our goal in the forest management plan of kind of maintaining canopy. So I just worry that that's, how do we get back to planting the amount of trees in the right places, not necessarily in the same spot, but in the right places to keep our canopy cover at what we've kind of committed to?
No, definitely, that's a great question. We're making that a big effort. Renee's taking that onto himself to, not just help with the work plan, but really the replanting that's a big project that he brought up, and we're gonna bring that up in terms, probably budget season's coming up, and we're gonna make a push this next fiscal year to not just buy the trees, but maybe have contractors plant and water them, and we really wanna get to that goal, at least to the point where we're putting them where they need to be, parks and green belts, so we're not just planting them downtown or under the power lines. So we want to hit that number, and it's important to us to make sure that we're not a net negative, or we're just removing trees and not replanting anything. So just to
Thank you for that. That was a great question, and I appreciate the response. And I'm kind of just wondering if I could be more specific. Could you come back next month with a plan of how you would approach this?
Definitely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, any future agenda items that anybody?
I had one more question, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
For-
sure, go ahead.
Are we gonna take public comment? Like, do we normally take?
I don't see anybody.
There's
Oh,
one-
I just got, thank you. I'm so sorry. Do you want to go ahead
Yes,
first?
let me ask my question. So
Leo?
I know on the website, there's the report a problem
Yes.
where you can submit, and I actually submitted something today.
To me?
This may be more of a Ken question, but I guess my first question to you is, do people report tree problems through the website, or do they typically call?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Certain people around town that we have the long-standing repeat customers. Certain people have certain comfortable ways of doing things. We do get reported problems about trees, and again, we eventually try to guide them back to emailing Forester or filing for free tree city tree permits, just because it's more easily trackable.
Right.
The reported problem is just kind of a one-off email that we don't. It's a lot harder to track than Forester or a permit.
Okay, this may turn out to be a Ken question, because I was just thinking, I heard that Rob was down with the flu, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the other person that gets the emails is Nova,
Mm-hmm.
who is, and this is an understatement, completely swamped, right?
Yeah.
She does a tremendous amount of work. And so, my question from a process point of view is, how do we make sure that things aren't ending up in the inbox for days on end? Can we have, another person, for example, or something like that? And I think this is probably gonna be a Ken question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask him.
Nova does a good job at relaying those to.
Absolutely, I heard,
No, we
especially
shouldn't
if,
have to.
Yeah, some other people get sick, et cetera,
Yeah,
so I
we'll talk to
appreciate
Ken
it.
about that.
Yeah, thank you.
And I had a question too. This is actually from somebody who has spoke to me about this, but they had mentioned that PG&E has a couple of takedown, I think, is it pink? Is there, if the
There's a bunch of
ribbon is
different
pink?
colors.
Okay, we don't know. But are you aware if there are two cypress trees, one, is it Second, 2 northwest of 11th on Casanova, and another approximately around 2 northeast of 11th or 12th on Carmelo? Are you aware of those?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if those are being taken down? And-
One of them is.
Okay.
And the other one, the resident reached out to me and said that she didn't want it removed. So
Okay.
I told PG&E that that's a refusal.
Do you know why they need to be removed? I was told that they seem to be in good health and that they could probably be pruned to maybe achieve what.
One of them is not in great condition, and the other one, they have kind of changed their standards. They're lowering their threshold, starting going forward, internal policies of neutrals and secondaries as opposed to just the primary conductors. So it seemed like I don't know what happened, but they're going pretty aggressive this year.
Okay. Do we have any say in this?
Yes, I have to approve them, and I try to walk I try to walk all of them, but that one I was lucky because it was a kind of special project, but the other one is like a 700 tree application that they're trying to push through, and I want it more digestible.
So which one is not going to be taken down now? And which one is?
The east side of the street.
Okay, so the east side of the street is going to be taken out?
Is not.
Is not. Okay, so the one 2 northwest of 11th on Casanova, that one is going to be removed?
So far, no one's complained about it.
Okay, I did receive a complaint about it.
Okay.
Should I have the person get a hold of you?
Yes.
Okay.
If people have complaints of that kind of stuff,
Okay.
forward them to us.
Okay, I'll have them get a hold of you. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, and then I think we do have somebody who had their hand up. Please
Thank
go
you.
ahead, Amy.
Thank you, Ramey Allard with Friends of Carmel Forest. I'm just curious, and this kind of speaks to, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the commissioner on the left side of the panel, but what he said about, wow, lots of trees are not being planted. Why are we putting off planting trees until the time of year when it's not good to plant the trees because it's so dry? I would think we would do all the taking out of stumps and taking trees down at a time when it's not an important time to be planting. And now would be the best time to be planting.
Seems to me you've planted a ton of them lately.
We do what?
Pardon?
Thank
I
you very
didn't
much.
hear
I didn't say
that
anything.
comment.
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I said, Ramey, it's Sarah Burling, that I have seen just a lot of trees that have been planted lately, so I was kind of surprised at your comment. But here's,
But the other commissioner had just pointed out 270 trees. We're down, we're way behind. Let's just keep planting trees when we can and when it's good for it.
And yeah, we're keeping going. We're doing our best, and we're increasing. We're still down a maintenance worker, and once we get fully staffed, we'll definitely have a more robust planting program.
Thank you, Ramey.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comment, thank you. Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right. Were there any future agenda items anybody wanted to see on? I know we do have some things. We're going to be pushing the beach maintenance history review. Will hopefully be next month. And we may be hearing this
Appeal.
this tree removal.
And there's
Do you think
another,
we could get a,
Was there anything?
there's
update?
another appeal next month.
Another
too.
appeal next month as well, okay.
do you think I think Mary's working with Carmel Cares, could we get a signing update? It's kind of disappeared,
Yeah,
and I think she's working with Shirley.
okay, yeah, absolutely, sign update.
I think also maybe an update.
Scenic sign update? Yeah. Okay. Yes, Neil?
Maybe an update on the process for the sea level rise adaptation plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know that Ken was going to talk about that at this meeting, so yeah, we'll ask him next month. Thank you. All right, anything else? Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. You're welcome.